Columbus is unique because it's just a football crazy town. You know, everywhere you go, everybody you see, everybody you talk to, usually Ohio State football is going to come up in a conversation, no matter what you're talking about.
We train our young to love Ohio State. That's the way it is, and it becomes a part of you, and we make no apologies for it. I think that's what makes us unique from a lot of other universities in the country.
Football is a big part of this town, and it has been for many, many years.
It's tradition.
Right.
It doesn't get any better than this.
That's right.
My theory on it is it's one of the biggest small towns in America. It used to be 250,000 people, very provincial. Ohio State was about the only thing going. There were no professional sports. There's still very few professional sports, and so the entire psyche of the community was Ohio State, and that's how they were, I think, viewed nationally and viewed themselves nationally.
Buckeye football means everything to Columbus and the state of Ohio.
Given that, the fact that they've basically had a winning team now for 50 or 55 years straight, it's a birthright. It's a given. You know, if you don't win 8 or 9, 10 games a year, you've failed.
Let's go Bucks! Let's go Bucks! Let's go Bucks! Let's go
I had a pretty good idea before I moved here what it was like spending most of my life in Ohio. My mother's an Ohio State graduate, so had always been exposed to it indirectly. But then when I moved here in 1998, it was mind-boggling to see how it really does affect the lives of people around here. I mean, folks during the spring and the summer, they get down their tailgating routine so that they know what to do when they pull into the parking lots on Saturday.
I'll tell you what, this is the best place to tailgate ever in the world, ever.
They plan their social calendar around the fall, around the football games, both home and away. You hear stories about family arguments over people who have weddings on weekends of games, especially home games.
It's amazing. Ohio State has the best tradition out of any school you could ever find. Buckeye pride is just one of the best things you can experience.
I think any major college football program, when you consider it big time, they're all built on somebody's big time strength and personality. And I mean, it took somebody to kind of get the masses boiling, and that's what Woody Hayes did. I mean, when they first built this place, you know, there weren't always sellouts. As a matter of fact, the sellouts were rare the first 20 or 30 years. And then along comes Woody and kind of stoked the fire a little bit. They won the 54 national championship, and things turned around tremendously, both from an attendance standpoint and everything else.
In his 26 years as head coach, Woody Hayes guided the Buckeyes to 205 victories and 5 national titles.
The team was so successful. See, they made 4 straight trips to the Rose Bowl, and that was the only time in the history of the Rose Bowl that has ever been done. And that was done while Woody was the coach, and of course he was such a strong, dominant figure who represented really much more than just that of a football coach, with a result that, yes, that was a kind of a golden era here.
And his former players remained fiercely loyal to the late Buckeye icon.
Well, I always thought that he looked for a guy who was going to work his tail off, somebody who was a team player, somebody who knew how to get up once he got knocked down. Those are the type of people that Coach Hayes looked for. And he felt that anybody that plays on his team has to be the type of person that would give their heart to the game.
That's to be expected. I mean, you know, like Woody Hayes was the legend. I mean, he's the legend, and people forget the good and the bad. They just remember the legendary part, which was he won national championships, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, kick butt defense, owned Ohio Stadium, et cetera, et cetera. That's what the fans remember.
Woody Hayes.
The tradition.
Ohio State 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
He's back, and his name is Jim. Jim Tressel.
And Jim Tressel.
Woody Hayes, reincarnated.
Right.
Buckeye fans like people who have some sort of connection either to Ohio State or to the state of Ohio, and Jim certainly fits all of that. You know, reared in the state, played college football here in Ohio, his father a successful coach, and again, having served time here as an assistant coach. So he is kind of the fit that everybody wanted.
He has a straight-laced, reputation. Obviously, with the sweater vest, he kind of looks the part. And you come in and win a national title in your second year as coach. I mean, you've got a few years of honeymoon. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people make comparisons to Woody Hayes because of how he goes about doing some things. But there definitely has been a strong effort on his part to connect to the previous traditions and the past of Ohio State football.
Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes shocked the college football world with their overtime victory against Miami in the 2003 Fiesta Bowl, and in the process brought home to Columbus Ohio State's 7th national title. The first came back in 1942 during legendary coach Paul Brown's short 3-year stint leading the Buckeyes. However, the Ohio State's roots as a national football power can be traced to its first great coach, John Wilsey.
Ohio State was taken into the Big Ten in 1913. But once they got into the Big Ten, the school was successful as far as football was concerned. The crowd base increased a great deal. And as a result, Old Ohio Stadium, or Old Ohio Field, as it was technically known, was just woefully inadequate. And they felt at most the stadium ought to seat 30, 35,000, something like that. The athletic director thought in much bigger terms. He didn't dare make it known what the capacity was going to be for fear of the widespread criticism.
Originally completed in 1922 with seating for 66,000 fans, the Horseshoe is now the 4th largest stadium in the country, with standing room bringing capacity to more than 103,000. In addition to playing host to tens of thousands of football fans each week, Ohio Stadium also served another important purpose during the 1930s when the great stadium was used as a dormitory to help ease a student housing shortage. The stadium scholarship dormitories were built under the stands ringing the closed end of the stadium. In 1999, with major renovations on the way, the honor dorms had to be relocated.
About 6-7 years ago, they decided that this stadium reached such a point of decay that it was either going to be tear it down or refurbish it. And some people kind of blanched at the fact it took $200 million finally to get this thing redone. But if you walk around this place, I've been in probably 60, 70 stadiums around the country. This is, in my opinion, the best college football stadium. You can still feel the tradition in it, but you also see the newness. I mean, the suites, the replay screen in the south stands, the way they sunk the field, took out the track and added another 7,000 or 8,000 seats. They enhanced this thing to probably being the best building in college football.
The game day festivities in Columbus begin about 5 hours before kickoff, and to the average Buckeye fan, tailgating is serious business. It's just as much a part of the football experience as the game itself.
Yeah, I'm putting in 40 hours a week tailgating, seriously.
When you get near the areas where there's public parking for the games and where the tailgating starts, and you see the cars with the flags and the banners, it's like you've moved into another dimension.
Who needs a necklace? Buckeye necklaces, $5.
My lucky Buckeyes. Every time home game I wear these things, and hopefully we're going to win every game.
This is the Ohio State Buck Wagon, where we keep some of our refreshments, our food, our seating, TV to watch the game. I think you'll see all over the campus that there's a lot of people that have invested a lot of time and money into having a good time, and buses are one way to do it.
How long have we been doing this? Since 74?
74 in this lot.
1977, 76.
And this isn't just a social event. It's the football counts for something. It's not just the pregame party.
What's not the best thing about Ohio State football?
The love that Buckeye fans feel for Ohio State football is matched only by their disdain of anything and everything maize and blue.
F Michigan, they suck.
The Buckeyes' disdain for Michigan dates back to the late 19th century. More than 100 years and 100 battles later, Michigan-Ohio State has evolved into one of the great rivalries in all of sports.
F Michigan. Can you edit that? Edit that.
I'm Jean Fox. I'm Dustin Fox's mother.
And
you know what these are? These are the gold pans that the players get when they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
I've got 2 pairs. I should have 3. We'll have another pair after this year.
The tradition plays a huge part at Ohio State. I think there's so many big traditions that go on. I'd say probably my favorite one, we call it the Skull Session.
It's still 2 hours until kickoff, yet more than 10,000 fans have gathered in the historic St. John Arena for a little pregame pep rally. It's called the Skull Session. Its purpose? To get the band warmed up, the crowd fired up, and the Buckeye players zoned in on the task at hand, bringing home another victory.
So we're out today to demonstrate the proud tradition of Ohio State with a great victory over Wisconsin. Let's go Bucks!
It is so good to be back home. Our students are back. The best damn band in the land is here. It's time to play hard, play long. Go Bucks.
You know, it's funny, that's the first thing everyone talks about is the band, and for me, that's probably the most personal connection I have. My grandfather was in a band when he was growing up. It's the same songs. I mean, it doesn't change, and to me, that's what tradition's all about, is when you have something that you can count on that's going to be the same year in and year out, and to me, it's a very personal connection. So.
As you might expect, being known as the best damn band in the land isn't easy, and these performers put in as much time, sweat, and preparation as the Buckeye football players. Hours of marching, practice, and film sessions. That's right, film sessions. The best damn band in the land also happens to have the best damn practice facility in the land.
Make sure you're using the body, not the instrument, for alignment.
Really, the Ohio State Band is a phenomena, an American phenomena with the love and dedication and interest throughout not only the state but throughout the nation, I think, in who we are and what we do. Back in the Woody Hayes days, he used to say, legend has it, that he said the band was worth 7 points at home and 3 on the road.
Late arriving crowds are never a problem at the Shoe. Everybody is in position early to see the band's entrance and the most cherished of all the Buckeye traditions, Script, Ohio.
The Script, Ohio originated back in 1936, and it was an instant success the first time it was done. And at that time, it pretty much was a follow the leader, follow the drum major, and spell out Ohio. But it really has evolved now into a very sophisticated, complex routine. It's not really easy to do. It takes a lot of practice. And it can even be a little dangerous at times because we have crossovers where people cross in between, and they just have to be marching with tremendous precision or there can be a collision or a problem. We've had to send a few people to the dentist. But overall, you know, we work really hard on it, and it's our trademark. We have many students, for example, who want to dot the I, and they start thinking about that in 7th and 8th grade. We will have anywhere from 45 to 50 sousaphone players try out every year just to dot the I.
My name's Matt Long, and this is my 4th year in the marching band, and so this weekend, Wisconsin game, I'm going to be dotting the I at Script, Ohio. It's going to be the culmination of something I've been working towards for the last 4 years and beyond. I mean, I started in middle school, you know, playing the tuba. And, you know, you kind of make jokes like, oh, hey, if you go to Ohio State, you can dot the I. And here it is. It seems like it's taken forever, but, you know, it's going to be tomorrow.
While four-time Olympic gold medalist Jesse Owens and golf legend Jack Nicklaus are Ohio State's two most famous alums, football is Ohio's most valuable and cherished athletic export, which is why even players who move on to great NFL careers often find themselves drawn back to their scarlet and gray roots.
It feels like home to me because I was born just south of this stadium in the Ohio State University Hospital, so it really is home to me. I hadn't gone too far. The banks of the old Tangi.
Thank you. How about this guy?
Yeah, good. We love you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. How you
Thanks for everything you did for us. We loved you. As a player here, I was privileged. Every week, I could not believe that I had the honor and the opportunity to play for my home school and to come down here and look at all the fans, and people travel from all over every weekend to come to an Ohio State game, and I actually got to be a part of it. It's a pretty awesome memory and one that I'll hold on to for a long time.
I think the fact that I had the opportunity to be a part of Ohio State University and a part of the football team, there's a connection there because the people in Ohio love Ohio State football. And that in itself is a big connection. But even more importantly, this school as a whole is bigger than all of that. And there's a connection there also.
They come back because this is Ohio State and football is here, and it's made of all these old guys coming back. And you know, we lived through these guys, and it's just a lot of fun every year adding onto that list of Ohio State greats.
Great teams are built around great players, and Ohio State has produced more than its share. 5 Heisman Trophy winners, including, of course, tailback Archie Griffin, the only college football player to ever win 2.
Good afternoon and welcome to Ohio Stadium today, where the Ohio State Buckeyes, trying to bounce back after last week's overtime loss to Northwestern, entertain the Wisconsin Badgers, who come in unbeaten in Wisconsin, looking for their 3rd straight win in the Horseshoe.
That game day atmosphere is infectious, and for both former and current Buckeyes, they are memories that will last a lifetime.
To run out on the field, it's one thing I wish everyone in the world could experience. I think it's just one of those things I maybe in the future I can look back and be like, gosh, I just remember those moments when I get to run out on the field. The atmosphere that's created, the crowd just is unbelievable how much support they have for us.
The fans are great, and it's extremely loud, extremely loud.
But every once in a while you'll catch yourself and just looking up at the fans, you know, just realizing how blessed you are to be in that position to play in front of these many people and just have the opportunity. The fans have a great chant at Ohio Stadium. They chant the OHIO, which goes around the whole stadium, OHIO. That's probably the best chant when they really get that one going.
While the Ohio State cheerleaders work to keep the fans' energy up, one special member of the squad is working hard to motivate the crowd.
I've been Bruce Buckeye for 3 years. Not too many people can say that. That stadium right there is one of the coolest stadiums of college football, and that's been my home where I get to run around, and it's just been the most unbelievable experience of my life. Oh yeah, I'm loving this FaceTime. This is great, isn't it? We don't get this too much. Usually I got that big nut on my head. I think it's us and Stanford. They got a big tree, and I think other than that, they're one of the few inanimate mascots. I think it's great.
We are Buckeyes. We are killer nuts.
I bet if Brutus Buckeye wasn't at a football game, Ohio State probably had several thousand calls wondering where he's at. He's the man at football games.
Unfortunately for Buckeye fans, there would be no victory bell today against Wisconsin. The reason why? The Badgers' strength and experience proved too much for the young Buckeyes. But even in defeat, one final tradition remains, and it's become dear to the hearts of the players, the band, and the fans.
We have lots of traditions that Coach has brought the last, since Coach has been here. One of my favorites is how we sing Carmen, Ohio after the game.
I think singing the school song after every game is it's unbelievable. It's just one of those things we get to do afterwards, and it seems like every year that goes by, more and more people stay for that, because usually we go by the south stands under the scoreboard where the band actually does most of their playing during the game. And it's just great that we can actually stand go over there and do that with them. I think it's created a great tradition that'll probably go on forever.
I've made lifelong friends that are on this team that, I do anything for, and they do anything for me, and we're just going to stay friends, and bleed scarlet and gray to the day we die.
For Fields of Glory, I'm Brent Musburger.